You're listening to Online Pet Health Podcasts with Dr. Megan Kelly. Continuing education for veterinarian rehabilitation therapists. Learn more at onlinepethealth.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Megan Kelly, and today we've got Alison Fantin. She has a hydrotherapy center called Doggy Paddle, which I love the name of. She's based in Chartwell in Four Ways in Johannesburg. Alison, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast. It's going to be great to chat to you.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks for having me.
Now, Alison, you, I think, probably are one of the first that opened up a hydrotherapy center in South Africa. It was a very, very early, sort of in the early 2000s, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. Mandy McHugh had started down in Cape Town, and then I started up here in Joburg.
And we've actually had Mandy on behind the rehab practice, chatting to her too. So it's great to have you on too. Now, what actually got you? I mean, you're a veterinary nurse. So what actually got you into hydrotherapy? Because it really wasn't mainstream at that time in the veterinary world. And I mean, myself also having studied veterinary nursing, we learned a little bit about it. But I think it was just like one day when we went to somebody's a human physio who had a pool and swam a few dogs, and that was it. So what made you branch now from veterinary nursing into hydrotherapy?
So Megan, I think I've always done things a little bit in reverse. My intention was to study animal physiotherapy actually. When I was in standard 8 at school, I had a horse that I was competing in dressage that needed some work, and I really battled to find people to help me with him. I had Jan still helping me a little bit, and there were maybe a couple of human chiros that could give you a hand. But it was really wasn't really a field that you could really say, please, I need help with this animal of mine. And so I told my dad I wanted to be an animal physiotherapist, which he found intensely amusing. He laughed a lot. And then at that time, my brother was studying veterinary science at Onderstepoort. So they said, no, I must apply to Onderstepoort to do veterinary science. And I was like, but I don't want to be a vet. I wanted to be an animal physiotherapist. So I approached Onderstepoort, and I approached veterinary council as well at the time to try and find out what I could do. My only options at the time was perhaps go and study in the States, which my parents said wasn't an option. So we took that off the cards. And after many meetings and chatting to people, I ended up enrolling for veterinary nursing with the intentions of studying veterinary physiotherapy after that. They actually had a course outline at the time at OP, so we were hoping that was going to come into effect, but unfortunately it didn't. But it was amazing to be at Onderstepoort, and I learned a lot. And I actually, while I was there, decided that I probably didn't want to be in the racing industry. And that was when I decided to stop doing horsework, and I started specializing more in dogs and cats. And from 95, actually right through while I was studying, I was doing veterinary reception at Four Ways Vet. And so that really got me very involved in the small animal side as well. So then I continued with my nursing. And when I was finished at Onderstepoort, I actually went to do a year of full-time nursing at Four Ways Vet. And from there, I kind of needed to pursue my dream. I needed to try and actually do something. I really wanted to be involved in rehabilitation. So I sort of went from there.
Yeah, I mean, and right then and then, did you actually then open up Doggy Paddle when you made that move? Because, I mean, a few years since I've been to Doggy Paddle, but if any of you are here in South Africa and you want to go visit, you must just give Alison a call. She's got an amazing setup there. So, I mean, it was a big thing for you to do, didn't you? I mean,
absolutely. It was quite a scary thing to do as well. There weren't a lot of people that I could learn from. There was a lady in Santon, and I went to have a look at her human facility. And then I thought, well, maybe I must just start small. So I started with just my little inside pool, the indoor heated pool. And I thought that would actually be just a part-time job. It would be for some spinals and, some post-op work for Four Ways mostly. And it was incredible, the support I got from other vets. Dr. Eugene Buffer was still here, and he was so supportive of the whole idea. So I started Doggy Paddle in the March of 2003, thinking that it would be a part-time job, and it really wasn't. So in 2004, I enrolled at the University of Tennessee to do my CCRP. So I was backwards and forwards to the States for 2004 and 2005. And then, pretty much full-time from then.
And now if you look at your setup now, so you obviously still got the indoor pool, you've got an outdoor pool, and you've got an underwater treadmill, right?
That's right, yeah. So I battled to obviously get an underwater treadmill. It wasn't something that you could readily get like you can now. So I needed more space. My indoor pool is lovely for post-op work, that you're in there with them and helping them. I needed something for more fitness and other things. So then I built the outside pool. So I started inside pool, then I built outside pool. And then from requests from vets, actually, I started the kennel block, so that I could actually have dogs staying with me for rehabilitation. So doing a lot of post-op, post-injury work from the vets. I think my treadmill, I only managed to get in, that someone might have to correct me, but probably only in 2011 did I actually get the underwater treadmill running. And I've loved that. So, we've definitely grown sort of little bits at a time. It was inside pool, then it was with outside pool, then it was the kennels, and now it was the treadmill as well. So we have grown slowly, which from a business point of view probably helped a bit, that you did things slowly. So.
Now, obviously, with all this, the pools and the underwater treadmill, you also have to have a lot of staff. So how do you manage all of that? So, I mean, obviously starting off as your part-time job that you were thinking about doing, now you probably have a handful of staff that you have to manage. And I'm guessing that those kennels, if there are patients there, they also have to manage. And that obviously can't all fall on your shoulders.
Yeah, no, it has been a very, very full-time profession, I can say that. I've been very, very lucky that I've had family support, so Doggy Paddle is actually on my parents' property. So my mom has been phenomenal in helping me manage Doggy Paddle and the kennels. Obviously, you do need kennel assistance. And I had my first child came along quite soon when I first started Doggy Paddle. So that was another thing to juggle, was suddenly family life as well. And I'm definitely a team player. I learned very early on that I quite like having other people around to branch, just to bounce ideas off and to be able to work together in a team environment. So yes, I've always had probably, at the moment I've got 3 kennel guys, I've got a driver, I've got a cleaning lady, I've got a veterinary nurse, I've got an animal health technician, I've got a team, to help run the business really.
And tell me, your brother, who's obviously a vet, do you rope him in to Doggy Paddle?
He actually went to the UK in 2000 when they had that foot and mouth outbreak, and we couldn't get him back, I'm afraid. He came back for a little bit, I think in 2008, but then went back to the UK. He's based in the UK. So. Okay.
Probably got away because he knew he'd get roped into the family business.
Yeah, I think he could see this family business.
Yeah. And Tanya, if you have to look back, so over all the years, what have your biggest struggles been?
It's probably time management, Megan. I think it comes down to your priorities and your time management. Like I said, I think it was great that I started slowly. When I first started, I obviously had an ultrasound machine. I learned a lot about laser when I was in the States, so I was very keen to get a laser machine. I currently work more with Photizo actually, so I've got ultrasound, Photizo, EMT, TENS, EMS, StimPod, all sorts of different modalities as well. In fact, quite recently I've gone back into practice a little bit, so I'm helping out at the Joburg Specialist Vet twice a week. And that's nice to have some machines as well, because it's always been a passion of mine to be able to work with immediately post-op patients. So yeah, I think it's all been very if you can stagger things, it does help, that you get a couple of things that you really enjoy working with, and you do that and sort of prioritize what you want to be doing.
And tell me, obviously, the finance side of things is always a big thing for vet rehab therapists. I mean, this equipment that we use is so expensive. How have you financed it? Have you got loans? Is it family loans? Is it bank loans? And was it a bit scary for you? I mean, especially the underwater treadmill. That's always
very
scary one.
scary. No, it is scary. I mean, I would love to put in a second underwater treadmill. I would love to look at, having another business and having another underwater treadmill. But, you look at the cost of it and the upkeep of it and the maintenance of it and the servicing of it. So there's a lot of things that you've got to take into consideration. I've been very, very lucky that my dad has lent me money, to be able to buy machines when I've asked. So that does help a lot. I mean, I think when I first started looking at an underwater treadmill, I know that I couldn't bring in one from the States because of all their laws and things. And it was something that I was looking at. And I'd taken, finances to the bank, and the bank was going, yeah, they're not convinced by this, So I think, you've got to obviously know what your machine's going to be able to turn as well, if you need to get a bank loan. So. Yeah.
So any regrets, the things that you've done that you wish you hadn't have throughout the years?
So it's not the easiest profession, I have to be honest. I think even Mandy and I were chatting about the other day. I think you need to be a slightly thick-skinned. You do get pressure, so there's a lot of pressure in it. But if I can say to anyone starting out, just go slowly. Start slowly. Prioritize what you want to be doing and get what you need to be doing that and build from there.
And have you got any sort of plans to franchise or to expand it at all into other branches? I mean, most of the people that we sort of start off with one branch, and then if we're going to do it, then we start having multiple branches. Have you ever thought about that?
So, Megan, so many people asked me to franchise over the years, I must be honest. From when I started in 2003, I've been having requests to franchise. And my personal problem is that I can't phone myself, and I probably have a problem that I don't delegate enough, to be honest with you. I think it's also your name, it's your reputation. So for me, it was very nerve-wracking to try and open numerous branches when I knew that I wouldn't be able to be there to run them. So yeah, I'm happy with Doggy Paddle. I enjoy being here, and I'm also happy that I'm doing a little bit of more in-hospital work because that's always been a passion of mine. So I'm actually feeling quite balanced at the moment, surprisingly.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where we always in our practices, sometimes we have to sort of take a step back, but because we're therapists at heart, it's really hard. And I think also the type of personality that most of us are quite controlling and sort of want to do things ourselves and not delegate. So I completely hear you. I was very similar in practice.
Yeah, we take everything very personally. So if we hear something that we're not happy with, we do take that to heart. We'll lose sleep over patients. So I think that if that's your personality, it's very difficult to then franchise.
Yeah. Let's chat a little bit about where you get your cases from. So do you have good relationships with vets in the area that refer to you?
I think so, yes. I'd like to think so. I think it was easier when I first started and I had the time that I could go out and visit with these vets. I now rely quite a lot on my driver just dropping off flyers and cards for me. And I really, really hope that if the vets, want to pick up the phone, that they feel that they always can. I really sort of rely on that. We do also send out little referral letters so that if they feel more comfortable just writing us a note, that's great. We try and we obviously chat to each vet. We get an email history or a letter from each vet for every patient. So I'm hoping that is enough communication. And obviously I do try and keep up with my nursing as well. So to see people at functions and things is always good as well, just to be, visible. But I do battle. That's one of the things that I've never really managed to find the time for, is actually to go out and call on the vets that refer. I rely very much on the fact that they know that I'm here and they're very welcome to pick up the phone. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Doggy Paddle is so well established now in Johannesburg that, everyone knows who you are and what you do. So that's awesome. And listen, don't be hard on yourself. We all of us are juggling so many different things. And I think marketing is one of the things that often gets pushed down the list.
Yeah.
Do you do any other forms of marketing at the moment?
So that's one of the things that I probably have never kept as a priority. I feel that a lot of business comes from word of mouth, and obviously your relationship with the vets in the area is obviously imperative. But mine is pretty much just making sure that everyone's got business cards available for the practice. But no, not really. From there, that's probably not one of the things that I've had much time to prioritize.
No, and I think it's great when you have a practice that works on word of mouth, because that's timeless. You can spend lots of money doing marketing, word of mouth, especially the referrals. I mean, for me, it was really a continuous source of new clients for my practice, getting referrals and obviously word of mouth through clients and things. I actually just have a memory of, do you remember I came up to your practice? I can't even remember when it was, maybe 2008, 2009, to come and do a prosthetic for that little dog. So orthotics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was the first time I actually went to Doggy Paddle. The little dog's name was Petal.
Okay. Yeah. I actually got an email from that lady recently. You won't believe it. It's amazing, and you'll keep in touch with people forever. It's incredible.
Yeah. And tell me, do you have any vets that work with you now at the practice that come to the practice and consult, or is it primarily just you and the?
No, like I said, I'm very much a team player. I still I'm sure you remember Amelia worked with me for many years. So
Yes.
she I still refer to for all my Rehab Pet products. And then I've got Tamsin here on a Tuesday to do some acupuncture. And then I've got Tanya here on a Wednesday also to do some acupuncture. So I'm very much a team player. I like to stay involved and also I like to support the other rehabilitation people. I like to refer stuff if I can't see it. The one thing that I've learned from rehabilitation is it also needs to be fairly convenient for people. So I'm probably one of the big promoters of our SAPRA website, because I often say to people, please, you need to find someone close to home, because this is not something you're going to be doing as a once-off. I find that you want to be able to see that patient once a week at least for a few weeks, and if that's not practical, it's not going to happen. So then we tend to refer. Yeah.
That's great that you support people close by, and Johannesburg is quite a big place with lots of traffic, so like something that's 4 k's away can take you 40 minutes to drive sometimes.
That's very true. Yeah, and it's something that people need to be able. It needs to be something that can actually realistically do.
So are there any plans to study anything in the future, or you just happy to do what you're doing?
Well, I think after seeing you over the weekend, maybe I'm going to have to start getting into some ultrasounding of soft tissue injuries. Hey, I think maybe that's something that I'll have to look at.
Alison was at the CANAPS. We had a conference here in Cape Town, and I saw Alison. So we had a great day of lectures, and opened us up into a whole lot of new things that we could possibly offer in our practices. So.
Yeah. I find the whole regenerative medicine and all of that so fascinating. I love all of it. So we'll probably never be. We won't stop learning.
No, well, that's the one thing about our field, is that there's always new things. There's always something new that's happening, and I think what I find so exciting is that there isn't a lot of research, but there's so much research that's coming out, and there's encouragement for people to do research in the rehabilitation field. So the more research that comes out, just the more exciting things we learn, and it's definitely a dynamic and growing field, and it's wonderful to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, it is definitely a very fast growing field, and still lots to learn.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, I did my CCRP in 2005. I think about how much new stuff is out there since then. I mean, it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Alison, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're really, really busy, so I really appreciate you taking the time to chat to me. It's been wonderful. And yeah, go and do all that swimming. Is it cold there now? I was actually just thinking, I saw you got a polo neck on, and I was thinking about those dogs swimming in the outside pool. Is the outside pool heated?
So they're all heated. I do battle. Our outside pool is sitting at about 22 degrees in the afternoons at the moment. So unless it's fitness snuff, we're not really in there. We can obviously manage the inside pool and the underwater treadmill. We can keep nice and warm. So that's fine. But yeah, it's fairly chilly.
It's freezing here in Cape Town. Alison, have a wonderful day. Lovely to chat.
Okay, cheers. Bye.
Bye. Vet Rehabbers, thanks for listening to my podcast. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, and it would be great if you could leave me a review. I want to know, what are you doing on the 15th to the 17th of November? It is our Vet Rehab Summit, which is our online virtual conference for veterinary rehab professionals. Find out more information at onlinepethealth.com.